Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple.
Two struggling giants faced off in the Champions League when Simeone's Atletico hosted Ralf Rangnick's United at the Wanda Metropolitano. Both teams have been struggling in their leagues, so were hoping to make a deep run into the Champions League. And in the end, the game finished in a stalemate, 1-1 thanks to goals by João Felix and Elanga. The XG showed that Atleti had the higher quality opportunities, 1.63 to 0.4, but couldn't make them count. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look.
A quick reminder of the formations used by both sides, as seen on the OneFootball app. OneFootball will get you match updates, formation updates, as well as player and team stats, and so much more. And the best part is, you can get it absolutely free through the sponsored link in the description below.
So, we'll look at United's tactics on the ball, as this also highlights what Atleti did so well throughout the match. From goal kicks and deeper positions, United would keep the centre-backs deep, with the full-backs looking to provide the width. And once the ball was live, the actions of Atleti were determined by the two forwards, who were their press triggers. If they decided to be more passive, looking to cut off the passing lanes into midfield instead, the team as a whole would be passive, with the Atleti wingbacks remaining deep to tie up the United wingers. This meant that the United fullbacks would be the easy outlet, and as a result, they both got plenty of touches on the ball, and would have ended up with the most touches on the pitch if not for being subbed off after 64 minutes. But Atleti pressed intelligently, with slightly different structures on either side. The natural 5-3-2 shape of Atleti would filter United wide, as we can see by the regions that United could attack through. So, when the two forwards pressed the centre-back, this was exacerbated. Down the United right-hand side, when Lindelof had the ball, Renan Lodi would be happy to spring forward from wing-back to press him, with the rest of the backline shifting across to form of 4 so that the United winger was still occupied. And the aim of this was either to win the ball back or to force United into sloppy passing. Down the right-hand side, the effect was the same, but with different personnel. The Atleti wing-back remained deep and wide on the United winger, and Llorente from central midfield will push up to confront the United full-back, meaning that Atleti still had a 2 versus 2 out wide. The different structures are due to the personnel of the Atleti back 5, as Reinildo is naturally a left-back, so he's perfectly comfortable drifting wide to cover Lodi when he moves high. However, if Vasilico pushed up to press instead, Savage, a less mobile centre-back, will be dragged into a 1 versus 1 with a tricky winger in a wide region, which is not ideal. So Atleti's press shape could even be a 4-4-2 at times. United did try and counter this by moving a third man wide like Fernandes. However, Atleti's defense shifted across like a block, meaning he could also be covered. United's structure changed throughout the match, with both good and bad moments. Although Lindelof began deep as a natural centre-back, we saw plenty of Fred dropping into the backline regardless. Firstly, this would force the naturally attacking Pogba and Fernandes to begin deeper to compensate. This is usually effective if the attacking fullbacks are happy to push high to provide the width, allowing the wingers more narrow. While Shaw is fine providing an attacking threat, allowing the winger to move narrower, Lindelof is limited operating in this wing-back capacity, so he would only advance slightly higher and not provide much on-the-ball threat or overlapping threat. So, often he and the winger would be in the same vertical line, meaning Atleti could commit to a lateral press to squeeze United in this wide region. Rangnick seemed to recognize this, so Fred began to hold his position as the now single pivot more often, allowing Lindelof to begin slightly deeper. This would subsequently allow either one or both of Pogba and Fernandes to push higher into the half spaces on the pitch. So now, Rashford and Sancho, both tricky wingers, could now potentially have true 1 versus 1 situations in the wide regions, which we did see at times. However, this would also mean that Fred, who is not the best on the ball, would now be responsible for almost all of the ball progression, which is not an optimal solution, as he is oftentimes a press target himself, as we saw getting dispossessed just outside his box early in the game before a foul was called. But Atleti's structure made playing through here difficult in the first place. If they were sitting deep, Correa and Felix would cut out Fred, or easily press him. But if they were pressing high, the Atleti midfielders, Kondogbia in particular, would be happy to spring forward, press and look to win the ball back. And from here, Atleti were dangerous, as Correa and Felix both liked to run behind the defense. So especially when Lindelof was caught higher, there was space to attack. And generally, the two forwards looked good on the break, as either is capable of dropping deep and carrying, whilst the other is running behind. This would make it much harder for the United centre-backs to anticipate which one of the men they'd have to track when he dropped deep, and which one was likely to run in behind. However, Atleti weren't able to make the most of these situations. Overall, Atleti will be bitterly disappointed not to come away with a win after executing a well-structured tactical plan. United will back themselves to come away with a win at Old Trafford, especially with the no away goals rule. But what did you make of this match? Who do you think will be taking their place in the quarterfinals? Drop it down in the comments below. And for the managerial tactical score, I believe this was a perfect example of dominating a match with less possession, as Atleti's defense was solid for the most part, and they always looked dangerous on the transition, earning Simeone an 8. Rangnick, on the other hand, was slow to adapt, and United looked nowhere near their best, meaning that he earns a 5. But drop your ratings down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy the FMS Patreon. On Patreon, you'll get early access to videos, exclusive videos, as well as the ability to vote on various polls and so much more. It's a great way to support the channel, and it is now cheaper than ever. All you have to do is head over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple, or press the card in the top right or the end card at the end of this video. And a special thanks to my patrons, including my latest patrons, Ben2001, Loco Opisov, Jake, Math, Cecil Gittins, Andy Ray, and Rudra.
But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.